first, a realm of ruin and remembrance. This is no land of light. It is the underworld of your becoming, where shadows rule and truth has claws. Here, you won't find comfort. You'll find confrontation. You'll find the parts of yourself you buried, still breathing. And once the trolls call your name, there is no turning back. Welcome to Troll Kingdom. A place carved from regrets and curse, where the walls whisper what you tried to forget, and the ground remembers every step you denied. In Troll Kingdom, illusions don't last. Sooner or later, everyone is seen as they truly are, and not as they wish to be. You think you've come here to heal, but Troll Kingdom doesn't offer answers. It holds up a mirror, and when that mirror turns on you, you won't like what you see. Because the real battle isn't with the trolls, it's with the part of you you've buried. The truth you've spent your life denying, the rage, the grief, the darkness you wrapped in silence. And when it rises, you won't run. You won't hide. You'll face yourself. And that is when the war begins.
Why is it always spiders? Oh yeah, that'll do it. Blue, I'm here. If we'd done this 10 minutes ago, maybe we wouldn't have missed the whole fight.
Ah, poor guy. Nice try, though. Now where were we?
Welcome to the Troll Kingdom, a realm beneath the surface where shadow truths, ancestral wounds, and emotional armor come to light. These 40 cards are not here to sugarcoat. They are here to reveal. Each one holds a mirror to the parts of ourselves we've hidden, hardened, or left behind. In this deck, you'll meet archetypes forged from grief, silence, rage, and repression. But behind their sharp edges lies deep wisdom guides that help us confront what we've avoided, reclaim what we've disowned, and name what was once unspeakable. This is not a journey of shame, it's a path of integration. These cards won't curse you. They'll walk with you, challenge you, and awaken your buried strength. You're not here to bypass the dark. You're here to lead yourself through it. Welcome to the underrealm of your healing. The Troll Kingdom is ready. In the murky corridors of the inner world, the shadowed sovereign rises as the part of you that took control when softness was no longer safe, commanding with authority, manipulating with grace, and mastering survival through strategic dominance. Her presence invites you to examine the ways you've used power to protect your wounds. Standing behind her is Bearer of the Unbroken Line, the ancestral keeper who holds the weight of legacies passed down without pause, where respect was forged in fear, and mercy was replaced by bone-deep obedience. His gaze calls you to question which parts of your story are truly yours, and which were inherited through silence and pressure. Scrindle, the ghost-like embodiment of soul despair, emerges in the darkest hour when isolation swallows the voice, and the void numbs the heart. His card does not punish your emptiness. It honors it as sacred space where your hidden cries might finally be heard. Next, Belphegor, Prince of Stagnant Delight, lures you with the comfort of excess where indulgence dulls the ache and stillness masks a slow rot. He is the part of you that smiles while sinking, teaching that what glitters may also suffocate. Then comes the Crystal Trickster, a shapeshifter who survived by outsmarting pain with wit and performance. His cleverness is dazzling, but beneath the jokes and sparkle lies a longing to be taken seriously without the mask. The Brassbelly Bastion reminds you that even the smallest parts of you, the timid, the overlooked, hold fierce, immovable strength. He is the defender of the inner child who learned to be loud in order to be safe. With wild eyes and twisted grins, the Lords of Fractured Sanity represent the disorienting spiral of breakdown, where your mind fractures not to destroy you, but to reveal the illusions you've outgrown. They bring the chaos that breaks open clarity. Meanwhile, Mammon, Lord of Avarice and Creation, exposes how you've tried to fill the void with things offering, manipulating, or creating not from soul, but from scarcity. He asks, who are you when there's nothing left to give or gain? Entwined in the background is the Web Weaver, spinning threads of toxic loyalty, mental fog, and unseen control. His presence surfaces the ways you've complied to stay safe, and the sabotage that festers in the corners of your compliance. The Kin of Cinders stands as a generational mirror family systems bound by loyalty and tension, where love and protection often came wrapped in control. Their eyes ask the hardest question, will you be the one who leaves the fire to find the truth? When fury has nowhere to go but inward, the timeless tempest erupts, with childlike rage frozen in time, an ageless storm born of betrayal, bitterness, and the pain of never being believed. This card surfaces the parts of you that scream beneath the surface, asking not for punishment, but for release. Leviathan, Tamer of the Abyss, steps forward as the part of your shadow that mastered destruction to never feel powerless again. A strategist of resentment, he teaches how jealousy and spite often rise to guard the places we once felt humiliated or unseen. In the thick of emotional weight stands the Burden Dweller, the embodiment of exhaustion that comes from carrying what was never fully processed. She is your grief in armor, begging for rest, grounding, and permission to come home to yourself. The eruption of suppressed pain finds voice in the seething maw, where rage becomes fire and words become weapons. This is the moment of reckoning, when you can no longer spiritualize your way out of what your nervous system still remembers. Riding through this terrain with slow, sacred strength is Bramblegut and the Donkey of Burden, the keepers of soul weariness who remind you that slow is not stuck at sacred. They carry your unseen labor, your quiet tenacity, your sacred fatigue. Beside stillness stands the weight of still waters, reflecting the ache of stagnation, the sorrow of generational cycles, and the fear of transforming when it feels too late. Yet this card whispers, even the stillest water can flood when it's finally time. In quiet vigilance, the Verdant Huntress listens for what's never been spoken. Her strength is not in speech, but in presence. She teaches you that deep healing doesn't always roar. Sometimes it listens until the soul feels safe enough to speak. Then comes the Arcane Patriarch, a keeper of hidden wisdom and gentle guidance. He reminds you that not all authority wounds true masculine power, can guide with softness, mentor through mystery, and protect without domination. Deep beneath the surface waits the deep dweller, submerged in the toxic remnants of what was never expressed. He is the Shadow King of repression, drowning in self-deception, inviting you to stop avoiding the emotions that have always been swimming just beneath. The Sage of Eternal Vision steps forward as the awakened masculine, anchored, assertive, and gifted with future clarity. He is what becomes possible when you've alchemized rage, grief, and confusion into wisdom, leadership, and divine foresight. In the dim halls of the Hollow Masquerade, We meet the faces we've worn to survive false identities layered over emotional numbness. This card invites you to question conformity, to peel away the masks you've adopted to blend in, and to uncover the soul that's been waiting underneath. The Elder of Light Tongue appears not to fix but to bless. Her presence reminds us that healing doesn't always look like breaking. Sometimes it's a gentle return to warmth, to nourishment, to ancestral magic that softens the shame and illuminates the forgotten language of self-love. Then enters the grief-woven guardian, holding the flame of what remains after loss. With quiet resilience and wisdom etched into time, this guide teaches us that grief is not an interruption of the path, but in fact a part of the path, and peace comes from making way for it to flow. The molded loaf is a sharp wake-up call. It shows what festers when pain is left unspoken. Rotting beliefs, sour energy, and emotional spoilage are not punishments, but signals that something needs releasing. Decay, here, is the teacher, not the enemy. In the watchful stillness of the silent matron, we find the truths never spoken aloud. Her wisdom is sacred restraint. She reminds us that not all knowledge must be shared, and sometimes the most potent power is bound in silence. Yet within that silence, the silent reflection waits an ancient mirror inviting you to look deeply, not for aesthetics, but for essence. Here, vulnerability meets sacred stillness, and the true face of the soul emerges not with noise, but with reverent quiet. The Mushroom Council follows with their roots deep in ancestral legacy. They speak in structure and tradition, calling forth respect for the elders, not as rulers, but as keepers of time-tested truth. Sometimes healing is remembering what worked, not just what hurt. The blue flame of purification rises in contrast, igniting the fire of accountability. This is the moment of choice, the fire that burns away self-deception and births self-forgiveness. It does not punish, it purifies. Then comes the ticking echo of whispers of the fallen time, where we're asked to confront the cycles we're trapped in: time loops, unfulfilled potential, and the illusion that we have more time than we do. This card is about reclaiming your clock before it defines you. The white elf stands as a symbol of harsh alchemy purity earned through difficulty, not avoidance. Divine connection does not bypass pain, it passes through it. With spiritual clarity and sacred guidance, this energy invites you to embody the light, not by escaping shadow, but by understanding its purpose. The gate between stands quietly in the deep wood, not demanding entry, but offering it. This ancient threshold hums with magic, calling the weary soul to a point of transition. Here, you must choose: will you stay in the story you've outgrown, or step through into transformation? Beyond the veil, the Foresight Seer waits in solemn stillness, his glowing eyes piercing the dark. He does not speak with words, but with visions, flashes of fate, whispers of what's hidden, and premonitions meant not to frighten but to prepare. In the shadows nearby, the shackled one crouches low, heavy with chains forged from inner despair. These aren't chains of circumstance, but of belief, self-imposed bindings that whisper lies of powerlessness, when deep within him stirs a strength yet to be claimed. Rooted in timeless stillness is the Watcher's root, the great tree elder whose glowing eyes see all but judge none. It is the earth's quiet witness, a sentinel of history and protector of the sacred rhythm between what grows and what falls away. Then, with cold ambition and thunderous energy, Mundus, Prince of Dominion, storms forward. Clad in spiked armor and fueled by ruthless hunger, he is the face of domination at any cost, the tyrant within or around us that seeks to conquer rather than collaborate. Yet even in the face of terror, humor persists. The Jester of Shadows grins wildly, holding a glowing mic, spinning pain into punchlines and tragedy into satire. He dances in deflection, masking sorrow behind laughter, reminding us that truth often arrives dressed as a joke. Then rises the Gritstone Guardian, a violet-hued protector carved of stone and oath. With unwavering loyalty, he reminds you to hold your ground not out of fear, but out of purpose. He moves when the time calls for action, but never from impulse. As you advance, be warned by the Bridgekeeper's bait, an image of beauty and calm luring you over a hidden threat. Beneath the illusion lies deception, waiting with fangs bared and patience honed. And from the depths of forbidden power steps Asmodeus, Lord of the Forbidden Flame, his wings like ash laced gold and his heart pulsing with seductive danger. He offers pleasure, power, and secrets that taste sweet but rot the soul. The air grows colder as the cracked skull screams into the void, a creature hollowed by fear, intoxicated by control, and dripping with the toxic echoes of emotional numbness. His power is a warning when we abandon our soul's depth. All that remains is a mask of terror and the sound of our own echo. You've made it through the Troll Kingdom, a place where pain is honest, where armor speaks, and where the raw edges of your story have been given voice. If you've come this far, then you already know this deck wasn't about darkness for darkness's sake. It was about digging beneath the numbness, breaking the silence, and finding your true reflection in the shadows. But now, something shifts. After meeting your inner trolls and facing your emotional underworld, you may start to notice new sensations, flashes of knowing, heightened intuition, spontaneous clarity, or even spiritual sensitivity you weren't expecting. This is not random. It's a natural consequence of deep inner work. The Enchanted Kingdom awaits for those ready to walk through this new portal of learning their intuition and inner knowing. The next deck will meet you in that liminal space where intuition sharpens, gifts awaken, and the veil begins to thin. Whether it inspires awe or stirs fear, your awareness is your anchor. Stay present, stay curious. Your healing doesn't end here, it transforms. Pre-order yours today on Kickstarter by pledging through July 20th and help bring these cards to life. Perfect for the modern-day reader and for anyone walking a spiritual awakening or Kundalini journey.